What have you learnt about technologies from the process of constructing this product? I have used several different pieces of technology whilst constructing this product. Some of it I used at college and others I used at home. For example, I have learnt that Photoshop Elements 5.0 and Quark 7.0 are very useful for editing text and images to create a music magazine. This is because you can insert text, change its form and colour and move them around the page fairly easily. Different features were useful for adding special effects to my music magazine, such as the glowing energy on the Rock Band's logo on my music magazine cover page. I have also learnt that technology such as Cam Studio can be used to record what you're doing on screen, which was very useful for recording tutorials and capturing video footage for these evaluation videos. I have also learned that the internet has many different useful websites which are free to use. For example, I use Bubble.us to note down ideas for my music magazine. Google Mail and Postgres were also very useful for creating my blog, because I could attach files and email them to my blog very easily, which I could then reorder and edit using Postgres. Digital SLR cameras are also useful for taking high quality photographs for my music magazine. They could also automatically focus themselves, which made them easy for me to use, as I'm not very good at focusing cameras. Finally, I've learned that non-linear editing software is useful for editing videos for my music magazine. It can delete parts of footage that you don't need, and you can add subtitles and text, which was useful in case my audience couldn't follow them very well. The advantages of Cam Studio. It is very useful for recording your work in a higher quality than using a camera. This is because if I were to use a camera, I would have to put it on a tripod, which if I didn't have, it'd be very shaky and the quality of it just wouldn't be as good, and it wouldn't be as bright and colourful as if I were to use proper Cam Studio software for it. Disadvantages of Cam Studio. There can be a few issues which I experienced whilst using it, such as it didn't save my work properly. Another disadvantage is that I could only use this piece of software at college, as I didn't have it at home. An advantage of Photoshop Elements 5.0 is that you can edit photos and text really easily. Also, the effects you can add are a lot easier and better than those of others, such as the ones in Paint. Disadvantages of Photoshop Elements 5.0 is that you have to click on individual layers to access the different items of your work. This can be annoying and time consuming, as I found, which is the reason why I switched from Photoshop to Quark whilst doing my double page spread, because there was a lot of text on that. Advantages of Quark 7.0 is that you can edit text and images really easily without having to click on individual layers, like I said just then I use for my double page spread. Disadvantages of Quark 7.0 is that the effects you can add to images and text aren't as good and complex as the ones on Photoshop Elements 5.0. Advantages of Bubble.us is that it's very easy and quick to use and quick to learn to use. It's useful and simple way of noting down ideas. You can access it at home as long as you have the internet. Disadvantages of Bubble.us is that to save the Bubble.us file you have to create an account, which I didn't want to, so I had to do a print screen in order to get my mind map, which was slightly fiddly and time consuming. Also, if you don't have the internet, you can't use it. An advantage of Windows Movie Maker is that it's really easy to use and edit my videos. Also, it's free, so I didn't have to pay for any extra costs for the software. Disadvantages of Windows Movie Maker is that there aren't as many special effects as other video editing software packages such as Adobe Premiere.